There's people that compare Vintage Story to many modded versions of Minecraft. The one in particular I'd like to address in this video would be terraformacraft. Here's my issue with that mod specifically. I've already addressed it in my comment section, but I think I just need to verbally say it once and for all and just leave it in the closet, so to speak. The problem with terraformacraft is quite simple in my opinion. The mod feels punishing. The second you would join the mod, you would immediately get attacked by spiders and just other things that would want you basically eliminated. In other terms, it would just feel like the Hunger Games, basically giving you the vibe of only the fittest survives. And that was basically it. Vintage Story took that concept and basically ran with it, in the good way of course. Instead of punishing you and basically making you regret every step that you would take, Vintage Story had a brilliant approach to it. So you are still technically clueless as far as what to do. You can't just simply run up to the tree and just beat the crap out of it to get wood. No, the reality of it is, of course, you still had to have tools in order to collect complex resources, and you can't just simply go to your crafting menu either and have a little slider and pick what you wanted, right? That wasn't quite an option still. So it took players a minute to kind of realize, hold on, maybe I need to start picking stuff from the ground and start making stuff as we speak. Vintage Story is a completely new and fresh experience for a lot of different players. Something Vintage Story has never done to its players was purely punish every second. Now, you can get yourself in that situation where it's brutal and challenging, but the game would give you a little slack. It wouldn't put you purposely in that situation unless you did it to yourself. With the common sense behind it, of course. Well, if you hear a pack of wolves, maybe don't get too close to them. Well, if there's a lot of mushrooms in the forest, surely not all of them are edible, right? Common sense goes a long way here. And that's the difference between Vintage Story and terraformacraft. Vintage Story has truly improved so much, and comparing this game to any Minecraft mod, in my opinion, is just simply doing this game a huge disservice. Why do you think we still get so many Minecraft people on here that hate and trash on Vintage Story, but then also at the same time ask whether this is a mod or not? Just think about it, you guys. Vintage Story is going far, and we will make it great. That's just pure and simple. And yes, I would take Vintage Story over any Minecraft mod every single time. Well, guess what? If you stop clearing out your walkway in this game, you wouldn't be able to leave your house because the doors at some point will be completely covered in snow. So, don't be lazy. Should we crack the window with the snowball? Just kidding, I'm not gonna do that. Everything aside, let me show you guys what a good insulation looks like versus not a good one. So this one isn't a great one, and as we look up, you can see the wind making its way through our hay roof. Therefore, this building in particular does not retain heat very well. Everything basically escapes. I just want to show you guys the difference real quick. Now, this one is decently isolated. It's not best, but it's pretty decent. Even though it's completely covered in snow right now, the heat from the inside doesn't leave very easily unless the doors are completely open. If you really pay attention, even the sound inside of this place isn't reflecting very easily. All we need is a campfire technically, and we're gonna be set. Once again, even though it's completely covered in snow, this little place is far more cozy and warmer than the other one. Love the snow particles in this game, let alone just the snow physics. Well, I guess our coal is ready to be collected. Keep farming, you guys. Keep farming coal, and I'll show you a great farming tip, by the way. It's coming very soon, but I promise it's a very good one. Let's talk about locating our salt deposit in Vintage Story. Salt is extremely useful and can really benefit us for long runs because salt is something that can be mixed with a variety of different dishes in the game, but most importantly, something you can start doing from the very beginning, which is preserving your meat to prevent your meat from spoiling very quickly. My rule of thumb is to either find a cave near the desert area in the game or around the mountains, and start looking for highlight, which is the type of mineral that can be easily grinded up into salt. And normally when you find any sort of highlight deposit in the game, it is extremely likely that it will be in a very large quantity, which will result in a lot of salt, therefore you won't be needing another deposit for a very long time. Fun fact, as a matter of fact, one singular deposit can last you up to 3 to 4 years in the game, depending on how many players you split that with on your server. But generally speaking, when I play by myself and I find one source, I typically don't stress about it for the next 3-4 years. Locating it can be very time consuming, so patience is very much the key here, especially when it comes to locating your very first deposit. But just like I said, start looking for caves around the desert area or even mountains. And start either digging around those areas, or you may get lucky and find an abundant amount of it looking right at you. So currently there's a snow blizzard coming my way that's about to cover most of my village, and I'm simply making that judgment based on how much it has already covered, by the way. But that's not why I'm making this video. I wanted to make this video to showcase you guys, especially for the newcomers to Vintage Story, because I don't think I have yet seen anyone do something like this before. So as we're currently running in the blizzard, you can hide behind branches to minimize the effect of it. I suppose it depends which direction the snow is coming from. But if you fully expose yourself to the snow that's flying towards you, it will completely cover your character in snow and you will slow down a lot. Obviously, you will get extremely cold and your character will then begin to take damage, but if I were to stand here in one spot, I will be completely covered, and it can get to the point where there'd be nothing of my character to see because he would be fully submerged under a pile of snow. I mean, how cool is that? Alrighty, let's just assume this is your very first winter season in Vintage Story and you, just like myself, came a little too short when it comes to saving your food. And now you either have to go and hunt every single day in order to survive, or you just have to simply rely and eat nothing but bread, which is also something I've been doing lately. Well, if you ever find yourself in the situation where you have to hunt, especially when it's cold and icy, here's the best way to go about this. Pretty much anything in this game, unless it's a rodent of course, will strike back. So in that instance, when you hunt, make sure you surround yourself around a frozen lake and take that towards your advantage. Not only does the frozen water create a little delay between your enemy strikes because it's too slippery, but it is also extremely easy for you to time your dodges in order to get away from your enemy. As you can see in multiple instances, I simply dodge any potential attacks thrown in my direction, meanwhile simply running in circles with little to no efforts at all. This by far has been my favorite method of getting my meat. But just a disclaimer, I have not tested this against grizzlies, and I'm not sure if I should. So in order for you not to make the same mistake as I did and wait until the last minute, as they like to say in the real world, here is the best way to prepare yourself for the cold season in the Vintage Story. Something you don't see me do often, but I assure you, it happens outside of recording a lot. And it does annoy me actually. Something you need to start doing if you haven't already is to start curing your hide and leaving it either in your containers or simply carrying it with you in your inventory anywhere you go. Every time you hunt, collect fat and hide, mix it together, and once it is fully cured, you'll be able to make a fur coat, gloves, and pants. Also, as a bonus, you can make yourself a hunter's backpack, which is actually a cheaper alternative to your leather backpack, by simply combining your hide with cattails together. It doesn't have as much storage as a leather backpack would, but it is cheaper than a basket that you've been dragging around with you for 2 seasons straight. Do you guys remember seeing that one viral video I have on this channel, coming down from the top of the mountain and coming across a lamb? Well, that famous mountain is right over here. I know in my previous video I was trying to make my way down from the top of the mountain, but fun fact by the way, people think that I accidentally started building here and stumbled across this huge mountain that overlooks my little village by an accident. But truth to be told, I spent close to an hour in real time searching for a good place to start my village. My vision was simply to find a tall mountain with a huge snowy top that would just overlook my village. So that was the goal. And with that being said, this was 100% intentional and I don't regret any of it, especially realizing that I have this huge cave inside of this mountain. And to celebrate 1 week of Vintage Story, if you will, I will climb back up there just to appreciate the view one more time. and just to show you what that mountain view looks like from above, especially if you have not yet seen this before. Which, mind you, the view from here does not do enough justice. That beast is a lot taller than you think, I promise you. Last time I was up there, it was completely covered in ice, so even during a beautiful summer day, if you will, the top of that mountain is extremely dangerous. Just take a look at this. So freaking incredible. To make it fun, what do you guys think I should name this mountain? I'll tell you what, drop names in the comments and I will choose the best fitting name in 48 hours. I guess maybe the name that gets most likes, and come back up here just to leave a sign with the name on it. And aside from that, the biggest take from here, I guess, would be whatever goes up must come down. And I'm here to argue that coming up here is a lot easier and safer than coming back down.